Hello everyone, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, your guide to navigating the complexities of life, especially for those of us over 40. Imagine you're enjoying a peaceful walk through a magnificent forest, surrounded by the beauty of nature. Suddenly, without warning, a powerful storm erupts. The winds howl fiercely, and the rain pours down in sheets, making it difficult to see where you're going. You feel disoriented and unsure of how to proceed. There's no way to avoid it, you have to face it head-on. Life sometimes feels like this relentless storm, doesn't it? You might find yourself feeling overwhelmed, lost, or unsure of how to navigate through the chaos. If you are like me and enjoy these types of videos, please subscribe to our channel today so that we can continue to make more videos. Have you ever pondered why difficult times unexpectedly enter our lives? Why it feels as though we're being pushed to the very edge when we least anticipate it? Have you ever asked yourself, why me, or how am I going to survive this ordeal? Life is undoubtedly filled with its fair share of ups and downs, but occasionally, when the storm becomes too intense, it can feel as though there's simply no escape. The winds of change buffet you from all sides, and the path forward seems shrouded in darkness. It's easy to feel discouraged and wonder if you'll ever see the sun again. Yet, even in the darkest of nights, there's always a glimmer of hope. But what if I were to tell you that, just like any storm, this too shall eventually pass? And that within your own mind lie the tools and resources needed to weather any storm that life throws your way? For instance, take a moment to recall a time in your life when you were confronted with something exceptionally challenging. It could have been a significant loss, a battle with your health, or a period of profound emotional distress. Did you happen to notice that as time went on, the intensity of your struggle gradually lessened? The storm eventually calmed, and the clouds began to part. You made it through, and you emerged stronger on the other side. So please subscribe today for a brighter tomorrow. Life, much like nature, operates in cycles. Periods of difficulty are inevitably followed by periods of peace and tranquility. Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to exploring the timeless teachings of Buddhism to help you navigate through life's most challenging phases, whether you are dealing with professional difficulties or personal crisis. Here, we'll explore not just the wisdom of the ages, but practical tools for building financial stability and overall well-being, especially for those of us navigating the second half of life. In this video series, we will guide you, step by step, through the profound wisdom that can empower you to not only survive the bad phases in your life but also thrive amidst them. We'll discuss mindfulness, meditation, and practical strategies for cultivating resilience and finding inner peace. This isn't just about theory, it's about actionable steps you can take today to improve your life and find lasting happiness. Please do me a favor and give us a like. It's interesting to note that there are so many views on this channel, yet only a tiny fraction, specifically 0.2%, of viewers actually subscribe. Your subscription helps us continue this work and bring these timeless teachings to a wider audience. To that end, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Moreover, we encourage you to share your thoughts, insights, and experiences in the comments section below. To stay energized and connected to the present moment, consider commenting Nam Buddha, a powerful reminder of the inner strength you carry within you. In the upcoming segments, we'll explore the very origins of suffering and delve into how to understand its underlying causes. We'll uncover the root of pain and gain invaluable insights into how to break free from its grasp. Remember to subscribe. When you're going through a difficult time, it often feels as though the weight of the entire world is resting squarely on your shoulders. The pain you're experiencing is undeniably real, and it can seem as though it will never end. However, here's something profound to consider: why do we suffer in the first place? What is the ultimate source of our pain? Buddhism teaches us that the root of all suffering lies in something we may not fully grasp initially: desire. This may sound somewhat perplexing. How can wanting something, anything, be the primary cause of our pain? But in reality, it's the attachment to our desires, the deep-seated belief that we must possess something or someone to achieve happiness, that leads us into a state of suffering. Take a moment to reflect on the last time you felt genuinely upset. Was it perhaps because something you deeply desired didn't unfold as you had anticipated? Perhaps you yearned for approval, comfort, or success, but it remained elusive. In that situation, you likely experienced frustration, disappointment, or even anger. This is the very moment when desire transforms into a problem. It's not inherently wrong to desire something, however, when we become excessively attached to it, we begin to build our happiness around factors that are often beyond our control. And when those external elements are taken away or prove unattainable, we are inevitably left with pain. This attachment, this reliance on external factors, is the very seed of suffering. It is a foundational concept to understand, and it is critical to leading a more peaceful and fulfilling life. So if you want to learn more, remember to subscribe. Take a moment for some introspection. When you're feeling overwhelmed by a challenging phase in your life, what is it that you're clinging to? What do you wish were different or more aligned with your desires? It might be a specific relationship, a particular job, your overall health, or even the way others perceive you. The truth is that attachment to any of these elements can be a significant source of suffering, largely because they are inherently impermanent. Everything in life is subject to change. Relationships evolve, jobs come and go, and health can fluctuate unexpectedly. However, if we tie our sense of happiness to these transient aspects of life, we inevitably set ourselves up for heartache and disappointment. It's akin to holding a delicate flower in your hand and declaring, "I never want this flower to wilt. It must remain beautiful forever." Flowers, however, are not designed to last indefinitely. If you hold onto it too tightly, you risk crushing it, damaging its delicate petals. While you might try various methods to preserve its beauty, in the end, you'll likely only cause yourself pain. Similarly, life is filled with impermanence, and the tighter we hold on to our desires, the greater the risk of causing harm to ourselves. Buddhism invites us not to cease desiring altogether but to learn to desire without attachment. Buddhism encourages us to gain a deeper understanding of the very nature of our desires and to approach them with a sense of detachment. The moment we release the notion that we absolutely need something to be happy, we liberate ourselves from the chains of suffering. Now, this doesn't imply that we should stop caring about the things that matter to us. It doesn't suggest that we should cease striving for better lives, stronger relationships, or improved circumstances. Rather, it means approaching our desires with an inner sense of peace and acceptance. We can still want things in life, but we must cultivate the ability to accept them as they are, without anchoring our happiness to the outcome. In Buddhism, this is where the profound concept of detachment enters the picture. Detachment doesn't signify a lack of care or concern. Instead, it means that you are no longer emotionally bound or dependent on the things you desire. You can still cherish and enjoy your relationships, your job, and your health, but you do so without the expectation that these things will remain constant or unchanging. You learn to appreciate them fully while they are present, knowing that change is an inevitable part of life's journey. The Buddha taught that we must also seek to understand the very nature of suffering itself. Within the Four Noble Truths, the first truth reveals that suffering is an intrinsic aspect of the human condition. The second truth explains why this suffering exists. It arises from desire, our attachment to things, people, and desired outcomes. The third truth offers a beacon of hope, asserting that we can indeed end suffering by releasing our attachments. The fourth truth provides us with the very path to achieve this liberation, the Noble Eightfold Path. This path serves as a comprehensive guide that shows us how to live in a way that minimizes suffering. It's not a quick fix or an immediate solution but rather a journey of profound understanding, consistent practice, and unwavering patience. This path encourages us to live with wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. It empowers us to perceive things as they truly are, rather than as we wish them to be. When we engage in mindfulness and meditation, we develop the ability to step back from our desires and observe them without judgment. Instead of becoming entangled in the chaos of our emotions, we learn to accept them as transient and impermanent aspects of our experience. Please subscribe to continue to learn more. One of the most vital aspects of this practice is mindfulness, the ability to be fully present in the current moment. When you find yourself in a challenging situation, it's easy to become lost in thoughts of the past or anxieties about the future. You might find yourself replaying painful memories or worrying excessively about what the future holds. However, Buddhism teaches that the only thing that is truly real and tangible is the present moment. If we can consciously focus on the present, we can discover a sense of peace even amidst chaos. When you're facing a difficult phase in your life, try to take a deliberate step back, breathe deeply, and observe the situation without judgment. Are you suffering because of something you desire? Is it your excessive attachment to a particular outcome that is causing you pain? Recognize this attachment, and gently release it. This isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending that everything is perfectly fine, it's about recognizing them for what they are, temporary and impermanent. This process is undeniably challenging and requires time and unwavering patience to develop. However, every small step you take toward releasing attachment brings you closer to liberation and profound inner peace. Please don't forget to subscribe. It's essential to remember that letting go of attachment doesn't mean that you should stop caring or become indifferent. It signifies a willingness to accept life as it unfolds, without constantly striving to control every outcome. You begin to recognize that your happiness doesn't depend on external circumstances but rather emanates from within, from your ability to maintain balance and equanimity, regardless of what life presents. This shift in perspective is what Buddhism refers to as the practice of non-attachment. It's about finding joy and contentment in the present moment without dwelling on anxieties about the future or clinging to past experiences. When you live in this way, you discover a deep, unshakable peace that originates from within. In the next segment, we will explore how the practice of mindfulness can offer even greater support as you navigate the challenging phases of life. Mindfulness is one of the most potent tools for freeing yourself from the pain of attachment and discovering a lasting sense of inner peace. Remember that there are so many views on this channel, but a subscription can help more people see it. Subscribe today for more. Letting go of control, surrendering without defeat. Life is like a river, constantly flowing, ever changing its course with the seasons. And yet, no matter how hard we try, we cannot control the river's current, the way it meanders, or the pace at which it flows. The water is in a constant state of flux, and if you attempt to fight it, to halt its flow, you may exhaust yourself, but the river will continue to flow regardless of your struggle. So, why do we often feel compelled to control every aspect of our lives? Why do we cling so tightly to things, people, and situations? We live in a world that frequently tells us that we must maintain control to achieve success, happiness, and inner peace. We're taught to manage every facet of our lives, our careers, relationships, emotions, and it can feel reassuring to believe that we have everything under control, that we are the masters of our own destiny. However, the truth is that control is often an illusion, a belief that by holding on tightly, we can avert pain and suffering. Yet, the more we attempt to control, the more we ultimately end up suffering. Letting go of control doesn't equate to giving up or ceasing to care, rather, it involves accepting that there are aspects of life that we simply cannot change and learning to find peace within that acceptance. Help me share this message by subscribing today. The Buddha taught us that suffering originates from our attachments, our desire to control things, people, situations, and even outcomes. When we are excessively attached to these things, we create unnecessary suffering for ourselves. We might believe that if we can just maintain control, we can ensure a smooth and tranquil journey through life. However, life is inherently unpredictable, filled with twists, turns, ups, and downs. The more we attempt to control it, the more we create tension within ourselves. So, how do we relinquish control? How do we cease clinging so tightly to the things that cause us pain? The first step is awareness. The next time you feel the urge to control something, Pause and ask yourself, am I trying to control this because I fear what will happen if I don't? Recognize that fear is often the root of our need for control. We fear the unknown, uncertainty, and loss. However, fear is not something we can escape by attempting to control it. The more we resist it, the stronger it becomes. In Buddhist teachings, we are encouraged to embrace the present moment and to let go of our expectations about how things should be. Help spread more by subscribing today. When we release the need to control, we allow life to unfold as it is, without resistance. It's akin to standing by a river, watching the water flow, and knowing that the water will always find its way, regardless of our attempts to manipulate it. You don't need to control the water, you only need to observe, be aware, and trust the process. Releasing control also involves letting go of our attachment to outcomes. Often, we desire things to happen in a specific way, and when they don't, we experience disappointment, anger, or frustration. We might believe that things should align with our plans and expectations. However, life often has its own plans, its own rhythm, much like the river. Sometimes, the way things unfold may not be what we initially anticipated, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not the best possible path for us. When we cease trying to control every outcome, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We allow ourselves to experience life as it is, without the heavy burden of expectation. We can still set goals and take action, but we release the belief that we must control every result. Instead, we place our trust in the process and in our own capabilities. When we let go, we create space for peace and tranquility. If you want to learn more about how to let go and create a more peaceful life, please subscribe today. Now, this doesn't imply that we should cease working diligently or that we should become passive bystanders in our own lives. It simply means that we work in harmony with the flow of life, rather than against it. Imagine rowing a boat in a stream. If you row against the current, you'll quickly tire yourself out with minimal progress. However, if you row with the current, you'll move forward effortlessly. This is the fundamental difference between controlling and surrendering. When you surrender, you're not giving up, you're working in harmony with what is, no longer fighting the current, but instead, flowing with it. It's important to remember that surrendering doesn't equate to weakness. It's not about passively accepting everything that comes your way but about choosing peace over struggle. It's about recognizing what lies within your control, your thoughts, reactions, and actions, and what does not, the things beyond your control. The things that are beyond your control, you release, letting go of the urge to manipulate, force, or control outcomes. You trust that life will unfold as it's meant to and find solace in that trust. Sometimes, releasing control feels like stepping into the unknown, but in reality, it's not about falling, but about floating. It's like diving into a pool, trusting that you will float, that you will be supported. Make sure to subscribe and share for more ways to improve your well-being. When we release control, we allow ourselves to be supported by life itself. It's not about passivity but about openness to the flow of life, the lessons that come our way, and the possibilities that we cannot yet foresee. Surrendering also signifies accepting that suffering is an inherent part of the human experience. In Buddhist teachings, suffering is not something to be avoided, it's something to be understood. We all encounter challenges, loss, pain, and disappointment. These are inevitable aspects of the human journey. However, how we respond to them lies within our control. We can choose to resist and fight, or we can choose to accept, release, and trust. By surrendering, we're not implying that suffering is inherently good but simply acknowledging that it is a part of life. When we cease fighting against it, when we cease trying to control it, we create the space for healing and growth. Remember, releasing control is not about passivity or giving up, it's about choosing peace over struggle, trusting in the flow of life, and recognizing that everything has its time and place. It's about releasing the need to control and finding strength in surrender. The river will continue to flow, and so will you. Join us by subscribing today. The power of mindfulness, returning to the present moment. The storm rages on, and the world around you feels chaotic. Each step you take seems to lead you deeper into noise and confusion. You might feel lost, unsure where to turn. But then, in that moment, you realize that the storm isn't just outside of you, it's also inside. The chaos you feel, the unease in your heart, these are the true storms. And you wonder, how can I find peace amidst all of this? This is where mindfulness comes in. In Buddhism, mindfulness isn't just a practice, it's a way of life. It's about being fully aware of the present moment, not worrying about what happened before or what might happen next. It's about embracing the here and now, no matter how difficult or uncomfortable it may feel. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment. Notice how the air feels as it enters your lungs. Notice the rhythm of your breathing. Now, notice the thoughts that come and go in your mind. They might be fast like a rushing river, or they might be slow like the passing of clouds. But no matter what, you can observe them without judgment. This is mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't about pushing away thoughts or emotions, it's about acknowledging them and letting them pass. If you enjoy content like this, do me a favor and subscribe today. Just like the storm, thoughts come and go, but you are not the storm, you are the sky. And the storm will eventually move on. Mindfulness teaches us that we are not defined by our thoughts, our fears, or our worries. We are not our anger or our sadness. We're simply the observer of these feelings, and we can choose how to respond to them. When life feels overwhelming, the most powerful thing you can do is to pause and bring your awareness to the present. The mind tends to wander. It always has, but the more you practice mindfulness, the more you'll find that you can come back to the present moment, no matter how far your thoughts may have strayed. With practice, you begin to see that the only moment you truly have is now. Not the past, not the future, just now. You may be thinking, this is too simple. I'm dealing with real pain, real problems. And yes, the challenges you face are real. But in those moments of pain, mindfulness can be your anchor. Imagine that you're standing in the middle of the storm, feeling the rain on your skin, hearing the wind howl around you. But instead of being overwhelmed by the chaos, you take a moment to notice the sensations. You feel the rain, you hear the wind, and in that moment, you are not lost in the storm, you are present. And the storm no longer has control over you. Mindfulness doesn't remove the storm, but it changes your relationship with it. The storm may still rage, but you stand firm, rooted in the present moment. Your subscription helps this channel grow. You begin to realize that just as the storm has its rise and fall, so does your pain. It too shall pass. We live in a world that is constantly pulling us in different directions. Our minds are often occupied by worries about the future or regrets from the past. But the present moment is all we truly have. And yet, so often we miss it. We're so focused on what is to come or what has already been that we forget to live fully in the now. But mindfulness helps us reconnect with that precious moment. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to see the world with fresh eyes. You see the beauty in the simplest things. The sound of birds singing, the warmth of the sun on your face, the taste of your morning tea. You become more aware of the little moments that bring joy. You no longer take them for granted. Mindfulness also helps you see the impermanence of everything around you. When you are mindful, you realize that your thoughts and feelings are constantly changing. If you like content like this, make sure to subscribe and share the wisdom. The pain you feel now is not permanent. The frustration you carry is not forever. And the peace you seek is always within reach. Everything in its own time will change. You will change. And that change is part of the natural flow of life. You might think that mindfulness is only for calm moments when life is easy. But the truth is mindfulness is most powerful when life is hard. When you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or lost, mindfulness can help you regain control. It doesn't make your problems go away, but it gives you the space to breathe and respond in a more peaceful, measured way. One of the most profound ways mindfulness helps is by teaching us to let go in the midst of a storm. When we hold on too tightly to our fears or worries, we only add to our suffering. But when we let go, we can flow with life rather than against it. Letting go isn't about ignoring our pain or pretending everything is fine. It is about accepting things as they are and allowing ourselves to move forward without clinging to the past. In every challenge, mindfulness offers you a way to reconnect with your true self. You're not your pain, you're not your worries, you're the awareness that observes these things. And in that awareness, you find freedom. The storm may still rage, but you stand in the center of it, unshaken and at peace. Please subscribe. So, how can you bring mindfulness into your life? Start small. Begin by simply noticing your breath for a few minutes each day. Observe how your body feels as you breathe in and out. Let go of any thoughts about the past or future. Just breathe. And as you practice, you will begin to notice that moments of peace become more frequent, and the storms in your life become easier to weather. Mindfulness isn't a quick fix. It's a lifelong practice. But over time, you will see its profound effects on your life. You will become less attached to your thoughts and emotions. You will stop reacting to life with stress and anxiety, and you will begin to embrace each moment, no matter how difficult, with grace and presence. As you practice mindfulness, remember that you're not alone. Every person you meet is facing their own struggles, their own storms. And just like you, they too have the ability to find peace in the present moment. So, as you move through your day, take a moment to pause and breathe. Return to the present moment, and know that this moment right here, right now, is enough. Is all you need. When you return to mindfulness, you return to yourself. And when you return to yourself, you find the peace you've been seeking all along. Finding stillness within, meditation as a lifeline. So, if you're looking for more tools to lead a better life, subscribe today. When the storm of life comes crashing down on us, it can feel impossible to find a moment of peace. Emotions stir up like the wind, and our thoughts race like thunder in the distance. We feel as though the noise and chaos will never stop. But what if I told you that there's a way to find calm in the middle of all this chaos? A way to find stillness within, even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Meditation, in its simplest form, is the key to unlocking that inner peace. It isn't about stopping the world or making everything perfect. Instead, it is about learning to observe what's happening around you without being swept away by it. It is about creating space within your mind where you can breathe and just be. When we meditate, we take a step back from the constant noise and demands of the world. We let go of our attachment to outcomes and simply sit with ourselves in silence. This may seem difficult at first, especially when the mind is cluttered with worries, fears, and regrets. But with practice, meditation becomes a lifeline. It is a safe harbor in the storm, a place where you can regain your strength and clarity. Think of it this way. If you've ever watched a storm from a distance, you know that while the wind howls and the rain falls fiercely, the sky above remains calm and clear. The storm rages below, but above, there is peace. Meditation helps you reach that inner sky beyond the storm of your thoughts. We aren't trying to fight the storm, instead, we learn to rise above it, to see it for what it is, and to understand that it will eventually pass. It can be hard to silence the mind at first. Thoughts seem to come and go without permission, like uninvited guests. But this is normal. Please subscribe for more lessons to help you navigate a chaotic world. The more we practice, the more we train our minds to focus, settle, and be still. It's like teaching a restless child to calm down. With patience and consistency, you will notice that those noisy thoughts start to lose their power over you. They come and go, but they no longer control your peace. One of the key lessons from Buddhism is the importance of being present. The storm in your mind is often a product of living in the past or worrying about the future. We are constantly replaying old memories or imagining worst-case scenarios. But when we meditate, we bring our attention back to the present moment. We let go of the past and the future, and we simply sit with what is. This is where true peace resides, in the here and now. Let's imagine you're sitting by a calm lake. The surface is smooth, reflecting the clear blue sky above. But then someone throws a stone into the water. The surface ripples, and the reflection of the sky is disturbed. However, over time, the ripples fade away, and the water returns to stillness. The stone that was thrown represents your thoughts. They create ripples in your mind. But with meditation, you allow the ripples to settle, and the water becomes clear again. This is the power of meditation. It brings you back to clarity, to stillness. If this message resonates with you, make sure to subscribe. No matter how turbulent the world around you may be. In our modern world, we are constantly bombarded by information, noise, and distractions. It is easy to feel overwhelmed, to feel that we are always rushing, never able to slow down. But meditation teaches us to slow down, to step off the treadmill of life for just a few moments, and to reconnect with our true selves. It teaches us that we don't need to do anything to find peace, we just need to stop doing and start being. When you meditate, you create space for your mind and body to relax. You allow yourself to be fully present without any pressure to perform or achieve. This might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to constantly doing something, but over time you will notice that the more you meditate, the more you begin to accept yourself as you are without needing to change anything. You realize that you are enough, just as you are. This is a powerful realization, one that can transform your relationship with yourself and the world. In Buddhism, meditation isn't just a practice, it's a way of life, a way of being in the world without becoming overwhelmed by it. It is a way of seeing everything as it is without judgment. Subscribe today so we can share our lessons with you. When you meditate, you learn to look at your thoughts and feelings with compassion instead of reacting to them with fear or frustration. You begin to see that everything is temporary. Even the most difficult emotions, they come, they go, and they leave no trace. You aren't your thoughts, you're the observer of your thoughts. This perspective is incredibly freeing. It means that you don't have to be controlled by your emotions or your circumstances. You can choose how to respond rather than simply reacting. Meditation helps you cultivate this awareness and allows you to see that you have the power to choose your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. It is a reminder that you are in control of your own peace no matter what is happening outside of you. Many people struggle with meditation because they expect it to be easy. They think they should immediately feel calm and peaceful, but meditation is a skill that takes time to develop. It is like learning to play an instrument. At first, it feels awkward and uncomfortable, but with practice, it becomes more natural. If you're ready to lead a more meditative life, please subscribe and share. Over time, you will find that meditation becomes a refuge, a place where you can find rest and rejuvenation. You will begin to look forward to those moments of stillness, knowing that they are the key to maintaining your inner peace. And the beauty of meditation is that you can practice it anywhere, at any time. You don't need to sit in a quiet room with incense burning. You can meditate while walking, while sitting on the bus, or even while waiting in line. The practice isn't about the place, but about the state of mind. It is about being present in the moment, wherever you are. And the more you practice, the more you will carry that peace with you, no matter where you go. The benefits of meditation are vast and profound. Not only does it bring inner peace, but it also helps to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. It improves your focus and concentration, and it strengthens your ability to handle difficult situations with calmness and clarity. It is a practice that supports your overall well-being physically, mentally, and emotionally. Please subscribe so we can continue to share this wisdom with you. So, if you're going through a difficult time, remember that meditation is always available to you. It is a tool that you can use to regain your balance and to find your way through the storm. It isn't a quick fix, but a steady practice that will guide you through even the most challenging phases of life. With meditation, you will learn to rise above the chaos and to find peace within yourself. And just like that calm lake, you too can find stillness. The storms may come, but they will eventually pass. And when they do, you will remain steady, peaceful, and grounded in the stillness that is always within you. The Noble Eightfold Path, a map through the darkness. The path through life's difficulties often feels uncertain, like walking through fog. When we find ourselves lost in pain, confusion, or sadness, it's hard to see a way out. But in Buddhism, we are given a guide, a path that can help us find clarity, peace, and wisdom even in the most challenging times. This guide is called the Noble Eightfold Path. It's not just a set of instructions, it's a way of living that can lead us from suffering to liberation. Subscribe to learn more. The Eightfold Path is like a road map to guide us through difficult phases of life, but it's not just something to read or memorize, it's something to live by day, step by step. Each part of the path helps us see the world more clearly and respond to life's challenges with wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. The path starts with understanding, and that understanding begins with our thoughts, words, and actions. Right understanding is the first step. It begins with recognizing that suffering is a part of life. We all go through hard times. That's inevitable, but understanding that suffering is a part of life doesn't mean we have to accept it passively. We have the power to change how we respond to it. If we understand that suffering is temporary, like a storm passing through, we can ride through it with more patience and strength. This understanding helps us see that suffering is not the end but part of the journey. Right intention is the next step. After we understand suffering, we must have the right intention, the desire to overcome it, to be free of it. It's about focusing our heart and mind on what will help us grow, heal, and find peace. The right intention is about kindness, compassion, and understanding. Is about choosing to act with love even when the world seems harsh. Are you looking for more ways to grow in life? Please subscribe today. When we practice right intention, we stop reacting out of fear, anger, or frustration. Instead, we respond with wisdom and care. Next, we have right speech. Our words are powerful. They can lift someone up, or they can bring pain and destruction. In difficult times, it's easy to speak out of anger or frustration. We may say things we don't mean or lash out at others, but right speech teaches us to speak with kindness, honesty, and compassion. It reminds us that our words should reflect our inner peace, not our inner turmoil. When we speak from a place of calm and understanding, we can help others and ourselves navigate the storm with a little more ease. Right action is the fourth step. It's not enough just to have the right thoughts and speech, we must also act in ways that align with our highest values. Right action asks us to live with integrity, to make choices that lead to peace and happiness for ourselves and others. When we're going through a difficult time, it can be tempting to make decisions out of fear or desperation. If you are enjoying what you are learning, subscribe now. But right action helps us act from a place of clarity and wisdom, even when things feel uncertain. Right livelihood follows, reminding us that our work should align with our values and contribute to the greater good. Our livelihood should not cause harm to others but should bring joy, peace, and support to ourselves and those around us. This doesn't mean we must have the perfect job or career, but it does mean that the work we do should not add to the suffering of others. In difficult times, our work can be a source of stability and meaning, but it can also become a source of stress and suffering if it doesn't align with our values. Right effort is the next step, and it's one of the most important. Life is full of ups and downs, and sometimes it feels like we don't have the energy to keep going. But right effort teaches us to keep moving forward, step by step, even when the way seems hard. It's not about pushing ourselves too hard or being perfectionists, it's about trying our best to act with compassion, patience, and wisdom. Are you ready to make an effort to make your life better? Subscribe today. Even when we feel tired or overwhelmed, right effort reminds us to keep making progress, no matter how small. Right mindfulness is the seventh step. When we're going through a tough time, it's easy to get caught up in our emotions, to become lost in worry, fear, or anger. But right mindfulness teaches us to stay present. It reminds us to notice what is happening right now without judgment or distraction. By staying in the present moment, we can avoid getting lost in the past or future, and we can see things more clearly. Right mindfulness helps us stay grounded, even when life is chaotic. Finally, we come to right concentration, which is about developing the ability to focus our mind. In difficult times, our thoughts can scatter like leaves in the wind, but right concentration teaches us to focus on one thing at a time, to quiet the mind and find peace and stillness. When we can concentrate, we can find clarity in the midst of confusion and discover the strength to face life's challenges. The Noble Eightfold Path isn't a quick fix or a one-time solution, it's a practice, a way of living that takes time and effort. To continue to walk this path, please subscribe. But it's also a path that can lead us to freedom, peace, and joy, even in the midst of suffering. When we walk the Eightfold Path, we begin to see that the difficulties in our lives aren't obstacles, but opportunities for growth. Each step on the path brings us closer to understanding ourselves and the world around us. And as we walk the path with an open heart and mind, we begin to realize that no matter how stormy life gets, there's always a way through. The path may not always be easy, but the more we practice, the more we will begin to see its transformative power. The Eightfold Path isn't just a set of guidelines, it's a way of life, a way of being. It's a path that leads from suffering to peace, from confusion to clarity, and from darkness to light, is the path that can guide us through any storm, no matter how strong it may be. And so the question isn't whether we will face difficulties in life, we will. The real question is,